Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. This is my first video on YouTube where I am going to discuss today about my step-by-step process from moving from a QA role into a product management role. So welcome to my YouTube channel where I'll be discussing about the product management concepts, QA concepts and career tips in corporate world. So if you're interested, please do subscribe to my channel and continue watching. Share your feedbacks because this is my first video and I would love to hear your feedback to improve myself in my further videos. With that said, let me first introduce myself. I am Deji. I work as a product owner in one of a product-based company. I have around 14 years of experience. With 11 years of experience into QA, I was working as a QA lead when I moved into a product management role. And right now I'm working as a product owner for one of the product-based company. So the very first question that would come to your mind would have been, why did I move at 11 years of experience from a QA lead position to a product owner role or a product management? Well, this is a very personal choice, and if you are somebody who is very much design oriented, who is little creative side, then this is something that you can take a movement to. If you're more technical oriented, I would still prefer you to continue into a QA lead because that has much more capabilities than this role. This role, first let me just tell you that it has its own technical caliber that you need to have, and also product management and management skills too. So if you are somebody looking out for moving into this, make sure that we have all this required a skill set or learn these skills before we take a moment into these roles. So the very first step that I had taken before I moved into this role was having a discussion with my product management team, like my product manager and my existing product owner, where I was working as a QA lead, about my interest towards moving into this role. And then the very first step after doing that was understanding the product in and out. Being a QA, you will be having a very good understanding about the product technically, like where exactly your data is getting stored, what are the API services being used, what are the different data flows happening. You have a very good understanding technically, what is the functionality working for, how is it working, and all these information. But then you need to think from a user perspective too. So that is a mindset shift that you need to take it towards this journey, understanding the user experience about this product, which will help you understand what is the pain point our application is going to solve. After having a good understanding about the product in and out, I would request you to work with your product manager or product owner to understand what is the product roadmap and the vision of this this product. This will give you a very good understanding what is your future journey about this application, and also it also gives you a good understanding what is user expecting from this this application. And then you try to test this application from user point of view, thinking that you are a user, and test the application. This will bring you with lots of enhancements, lots of feedback to your existing application too. Not like the performance, but maybe it can be a functional. It can be that you think this could have been done the other way around, and share that suggestions with your product management team so that they know that you are interested, and also this will give them a better idea to improve the application. After doing that, what I have done was I used to shadow my PO when he was out of office. This also gave me a hands-on experience in making sure to unblock my team when there is any clarity issue while sprint execution. And also talking with my product manager, who used to then talk with the users if it was required, and I used to get understanding how a product reach out to the customer or to the end user, and get the understanding about the pain point or how they are trying to resolve it, and get the feedback from them about our enhancements. With that, since you have already shown an interest and you are somewhere getting involved in with your product manager like maybe just a shadowing. This will also will be the next step that I wanted to discuss. Basically, you know what will be the next stories for the next sprint. If not, please try to get in touch with your product owner, get to know what are the next stories that they are planning to take up in the next sprint. And in your word document, write some acceptance criteria. Try to write the scope of it. So maybe you will write from a testing point of view, that is still fine, but just make sure you craft scenarios. This is basically a design thinking or scenario based thinking, which is very crucial or critical skill needed for a product management role. Before even the functionality is developed, you are way before thinking about how should the application be. That is what a product owner or a product manager or any product role is required for, right? So before even application getting developed, you are thinking about that application, how it will work, and that is what you are putting that in the story as an acceptance criteria. And then you can share that with your product owner and with the team, and then they will share their thoughts, and that will give you a very hands-on experience on how you're writing your acceptance criteria, or how is your thinking, and give a right feedbacks for you to enhance yourself. And the next is basically, it's not just one team that work for one application. It's maybe multiple teams, and you will have your dependent teams, or you will have your upstream and downstream application and system teams. So try to collaborate with them. So this is basically like a role where you will require a lot of partnership, collaboration, lot of interaction, communication. So have that collaborative mindset too. Try to understand what are the other features with related to this functionality or with related to this application. This will give you a very good understanding from product vision point of view and product roadmap point of view. And also it will give you a very good understanding and helping hand to collaborate with other dependent teams, understand how your product owner is also collaborating for planning your release, during the PI planning, putting that in the planning board. All these concepts will be very well understood. And after that, I would suggest you to do a certification. Well, certification is not mandatory for getting a role into a product owner. But the reason why I'm saying this is basically, this will give you a very good understanding about the different processes. Every organization will have their own, like QA strategy. Same way, product strategies will be different. The product execution will be different, like how we have in QA, right? So same thing happens for the product also. They have different tools they will be using for their execution, PI planning. So having a very generalized understanding, like SAFe comes up with its own standardized principles, rules and processes, right? So guidelines kind of stuff. So have an understanding on that, which will give you a very good understanding for, and also you will be prepared for your interviews. So having a very good knowledge on these concepts are very much crucial for you getting into an interview call for product owner role. And the next thing I would suggest is get into the product related calls. It can be organization related, product related calls, like the town halls, or maybe any strategy calls. So since you already showed your interest to move, please ask your product management team if you can be involved in such calls. Maybe these you will be very optional and you will not be allowed to unmute. That is still fine. You are just part of that call to understand how the process is. So get involved in such calls, which will give you a good understanding. Apart from that, have some YouTube videos on, go through some YouTube videos on the interviews, how the interview happened, what are the different concepts. Maybe you have many conferences related, product related calls, video recordings that I had seen personally before attempting for any interviews, where they have discussed the real-time challenges, how they overcome that. There are many concepts behind this product designing, strategic thinking, problem solving. So these are different skills that are needed for you, right? So having a very good understanding and will give you a hands-on to appear, or give you a confidence to appear for your interviews too. And finally, I would suggest you is to have a internal movement done. This will bring you that you are working on the same product, so you don't need to additionally learn any new product, but then you just have to work towards the day-to-day activity related to product, right? So these are the things that I have followed. And finally, when there was a position open, because I had shown interest and I was somehow getting involved in giving some feedbacks, enhancement requests, and also involved in writing some of the stories. Well, it was not something that I have done. I have just given my suggestion in a mail, and then they were taken into the ADO because I was no more in that role by then. And that led, the enhancement request was something that made my product manager, who was the hiring manager, to suggest my name for the product owner role within his team. And that was the starting point for me to move ahead into that role. So it can be a different scenario for different people, but these were the steps that you will have to take before appearing for a product owner role. Because when you're appearing, there can be a different sets of question being asked. It can be estimation, it can be design, it can be problem solving, it can be a conflict resolution, how are we going to do, it can be how are you planning a release, it can be any questions related to products. So we should have a bit of awareness what exactly your current PO is doing. That will give you a very good understanding how you need to appear and do the same in your role when you are given that role. I hope this video was helpful. If it is so, please do like this video and share your feedback, and do subscribe to my channel. Thank you everyone for watching. Have a nice time ahead. Bye bye.